10:45 in the morning on December the 24th, 2021, which makes it Christmas Eve. And at long last, I'm going to be doing a cooking video with my mom. This has been a long time coming, a lot of requests for this. So she is making cornless cornbread, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Dad said it right. That sounds a little better. Corn-free cornbread. And these are all the different grains that are going to be going into it. So tell us before we start, Mom, why exactly are you making cornbread without corn?
Well, Larry is a diabetic, and corn does not do well with a diabetic. So you can use sorghum exactly the same way that you would do corn. And sorghum even pops like corn. This is millet.
What they recognize as birdseed.
Yeah, and this is soft wheat. This is oat. And I could use hard wheat, but I'm making a soda bread, a quick soda bread. You use the hard wheat more for bread because it has more gluten in it than the soft. The soft wheat's used more for biscuits. Anything that you're using baking soda or baking powder, you would use the soft wheat. And oats are really good for helping with the texture too. If you want to be able to buy your own grains, Bob Bread Mill actually sells these grains, and you can buy them whole, or I've seen Bob Bread Mill also sell it already ground. So if you don't have a grinder, you can actually buy it. I've even seen this in Big Lot. The reason I like to grind and use, it doesn't go rancid. It's a lot more nutritional because it hasn't oxidized. Once you flake this or roll it or whatever, it starts to oxidize and it loses some of its nutrients.
Right, so it's good to use. It's good to keep the grain whole, and then grind or flake it right before you use it. You keep as many nutrients as possible that way.
Right, and they haven't gone rancid. Some of my grains that I have are like 20 years old.
Yeah. They found grain in the pyramids.
Yeah, and grew it.
And was able to plant it and grow it. And that was something like 3,000 years. So yeah. It's pretty much ageless.
This is my stone grinder. I use it a lot. Now, I could change out the head and put corn on it. But the reason I'm going to show you the mill I'm going to use right now. It's a lot easier just to go ahead and use the mill I have right now outside. Because I don't want to have to change out the heads. It's metal heads that you would change out. Anything that has the slightest bit of oil in it, you have to use metal heads. So I use this mostly for my grinding my flour. The reason my flour mill that I'm going to use is outside is because whenever it grinds, this is a slow grinder. When the one outside grinds, sometimes dust goes everywhere. And
you don't want that inside.
I don't want it inside. So
it's like a dusty
film. I
film.
grind outside whenever I'm grinding with my whisper mill. I have a magic mill and a whisper mill.
Here, I'll help you. I'm going to carry this too.
Yeah.
This is about the most I'm going to do. When helping Mom cook, it's best for me to just stay out of the way. Okay, so this is called the whisper mill.
This is called the whisper mill, and it's quieter than the magic mill. And when I turn this on, you'll say, that's not real quiet. You have to turn it on. It even says it on there. Turn it on before filling. Okay. The reason is it will
bind it up.
Bind it up if you don't get the motor going before you add the grain. See, this is quiet.
Yeah, it's pretty loud, actually.
And this is pretty fast. If I was to show you my other mill, it does not work this fast at all.
It's just amazing to me that it's all going through this one little pipe into here. That's a vent right there, isn't it?
Yeah. The filter also.
The filter. And so there go the millet. There's the sorghum, the millet, now the oats.
And last, the reason I do this doesn't have any oil and it kind of cleans out the machine because I put
the driest grain in there last.
Yes.
To clean off the blades and everything.
Right. Okay, I'm going to separate my bowl now from the mill. This is where it all went in. Four cups of my flour. I'm going to mix this around a little bit to get all of the flour that I ground mixed up.
So all those different grains.
Yes.
Just all went into that one bowl. Now you're mixing them together.
Yep. And I need 4 cups of this.
And there's number 4.
Number 4. This is real salt. That's what I use. I don't know.
It has no iodine or anti-clumping agent.
It does have iodine.
Oh.
Natural
but,
iodine.
But no anti-clumping agent.
No.
Okay.
It hasn't been processed. Okay. I need 2 teaspoons of salt.
Well, some people are watching this and they might want to make it, so you have to say that a little louder.
Okay, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
Do you have a preference on the type of baking powder at all?
I do. I don't like to use... I have one over there that I'm almost out of that does not have cornstarch.
Oh.
It has potato starch. And I like to get aluminum free.
Okay.
You do have to look for that stuff. This one, obviously, I bought at Sprouts.
So you're telling me some baking powder has aluminum in it?
Yes. And cornstarch.
Anti-caking agent.
Yeah.
So now you're putting in 2 teaspoons of baking soda. What is the difference between baking powder and baking soda?
This is sodium bicarbonate. Just sodium bicarbonate. Where if you use baking powder, it does have starch in it, and it also has baking soda and cream of tartar. That is what is in.
So baking powder has got baking soda in it?
Yes.
The sodium bicarbonate?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Anytime you look at the ingredients, you'll see that. Sodium bicarbonate.
Okay, and that's what that is?
Yes.
Okay. So you're preheating the oven to 350?
350. I'm going to use my bigger frying pan though. This one.
Oh my goodness.
I like to put butter in the bottom and melt the butter. I don't like you using the lid because it's so hard to clean. I know some people use spoons to mix this, but I use my hands. Because I like to break up any of the cornstarch or the baking powder or baking soda that didn't get broke up. I like to break it up smaller. Anyway, see how you'll have little pieces of that. May not have broke up all the way. Instead of buttermilk, I use sour cream. And the way you can use sour cream is for every 3/4 cup of sour cream, you add 1/4 of a cup of milk, and that would equal 1 cup of buttermilk. You've probably seen this kind of measuring cup. Instead of going like this, trying to see if you're at that line, you can just look down on it.
Look through the top there.
And
It's got the measurements.
it's easier to use.
Okay, so when you said milk, you meant coconut milk.
Yeah.
So sour cream mixed with coconut milk as a substitute for buttermilk.
Right.
Oh, here you go. So the eggs are going right into the milk.
Yeah, I'm going to mix my wet ingredients. You mix your dry ingredients, mix your wet ingredients.
And then you put the two together?
Yep.
Well, of course you have to eventually put the two together.
Yeah. And go ahead and put, I use a little bit of,
So only 2 eggs for that giant pan of
yeah.
cornbread, just 2 eggs. So the preheating is done. Now the butter is going to melt into the pan.
Yeah. And I need to go ahead and get my oil in.
So that's a 1/4 cup of oil.
Well, I'm doing double, so I'm doing
Okay, so that'd be a full 1/2 cup. And do you have a preference on the oil?
I use olive oil.
Okay.
It's just a lot healthier oil.
Better than vegetable oil.
Much better. If you look it up for...
Just one of those little things that makes a little difference. Makes things a little better for you.
And then I put my oil in my measuring cup first because then it helps the honey release from the measuring cup.
Won't stick to the sides of the measuring cup.
Right. Now, some people don't like sweetening in their honey. I mean, in their cornbread. I put a little bit.
So for a regular batch, it would be 1/4 cup. But you're
Right.
putting in a double batch, so it's
Right.
a cup. Now that is some dark honey
This
there.
is dark
It
honey.
looks like molasses. It's so dark. It even says it on the side there, dark wildflower honey.
Yeah.
But if you prefer the lighter,
You can get lighter
like
honey.
a Tupelo or a sourwood, you could do that too, right?
And I have that, yes. But I don't mind for cornbread to have something more flavorful like that. It's
Yeah.
good to me. I'm just mixing up.
So would it be easier to get the electric mixer out at this point?
Actually, I like to hand mix cornbread because you don't want to over mix it.
Really?
Yeah.
Sour cream,
And
coconut milk, 2 eggs, and then the honey and oil.
Yeah.
That's all that's in there. And then that gets poured into the flour. So we're getting very manual here too. No electric mixer or anything. Just mix it on up with the fork.
Muffins and some of your soda breads you don't want to over mix
Okay.
because they don't do as well. They don't rise and do as well if you over mix. You just want to mix it long enough for the ingredients to
combine.
combine. That's right.
All right. So we're not using that.
Well, we're not using. I've got a hand mixer also,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm not using either one.
See, I wouldn't have known that.
Really?
Yeah, I would have gotten out some kind of mixer and really mixed it good.
Well, you see how well it's mixing by hand.
Right.
You better need it. And by the way, my preference is this spatula from the dollar store.
Cleans off the sides of that mixing bowl really nicely.
I love this spatula.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
It is? It's coated really well. Like that.
Well, that is really satisfying. Watching that go in there like that. And then the perfect spatula to clean off the sides of the bowl, so there's really like nothing left in there. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, if you notice the sides were heated a little bit, how it does, it starts the rising there.
Mm-hmm.
I love using an iron skillet to make
Cast
cornbread.
iron skillet into the... Okay, so no lid.
No. No, no, no.
Okay. How long is it going to be in there?
I don't know. We'll start with 20 minutes and you look at it. I'll put it
Well,
on.
that is the southern way of cooking right there. I don't know. I just feel it. It just speaks to me. So,
Okay,
20
this
minutes.
is after 20 minutes, but it's not quite done.
And how can you tell?
Well, it would bounce back better than this. It's still needing to go a little bit longer.
All right.
I'm going to put it on another 10 minutes. Yep, it's done.
All right. So it was 20 minutes and then another 10.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to let it cool and eat a piece?
You have to let it cool.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, let it cool for just a minute, but we can eat a piece in just a minute. But see, look, see how it bounces back when you... I did put a probe in it too, but when it's done, it bounces back. It also releases from the sides whenever it's done. You'll see it releasing from the edges. You want to go ahead and we'll sample a piece that it doesn't break up. And this is so hot, it's probably going to break up even more because of it being so hot. See?
Ooh, there's steam rising.
But you see how this looks just like cornbread. I know it's not cornbread. My husband will tell you it is not cornbread, which it isn't. There's not any corn in it.
It tastes just like cornbread. It looks like cornbread, but it's corn-free.
Yeah. So
the corn texture that we're getting comes from the sorghum and the millet.
yeah.
All right, here we go. Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Yeah, it definitely tastes like cornbread.
And it has a lot of nutrition in it that's really, really good. If you look up those grains that I was using, millet, the protein and everything in all that.
So that is going to be it, guys. Let us know what you thought. The corn-free cornbread. Yeah, as much as you can get away from the ultra sugary and modified corn, GMO corn, the better off you're going to be. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to indicate so by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to turn on notifications by hitting the bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you
in the next
one.
Bye.
Bye.